You know, inside you, right this very second, there's a silent war being waged. A microscopic army is fighting off invisible invaders 24/7. But who exactly are these soldiers? Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to meet the specialized cells of your immune system and find out what each of them does to keep you healthy. So let's kick things off with our central question. Think of it as our mission briefing. By the end of this, you won't just know the answer, you'll get the whole strategy behind your body's defense force. Let's dive in. All right, to get to the right answer, let's do a little detective work, kind of like a process of elimination. First up, we're going to investigate a couple of suspects that don't quite fit the description given in our mission. Let's meet the leukocytes. And right away, here's our first huge clue. Our question specifically asks for a lymphocyte. Now, basophils and neutrophils, they're both white blood cells, which are called leukocytes, but they are not lymphocytes. It's a key distinction. It's kind of like asking for a Navy SEAL, and these guys are more like the infantry. Super important, but a totally different specialty. This detail alone means they're probably not our answer. Now, let's look at one of our main suspects, the B cell. The definition tells us it is a class of lymphocytes, so it fits that first part of our question. And notice that phrase, adaptive immune response. That's the really smart part of your immune system, the part that learns and remembers invaders. This is a very strong contender. And here's the hard evidence, the key identifiers for a B cell. First, it matures in the B marrow. Hey, that's where the B comes from. Second, its main job is to produce antibodies. And third, when it's activated, it turns into this antibody-making machine called a plasma cell. You know, this lines up perfectly with our question, but let's check out the other suspects to be sure. Okay, so that leaves our other lymphocyte suspect. This one is a very close relative to the B cell and a common point of confusion. Let's talk about the T cell and its very different path. So, just like B cells, T cells are indeed part of that specialized lymphocyte family. They're in the right category, but their training, their education, and their ultimate mission on the battlefield are totally different. This chart just lays it all out perfectly. Check it out. B cells mature in the B bone marrow. T cells, they travel to the T thymus to mature. That's where they get their names. And look at their roles. B cells are the factories, pumping out antibodies. T cells, on the other hand, are the field commanders. They direct the attack and escalate the immune response. Let's break down that command structure. You've got two main types of T cells. The helper T cells are like the communications officers, calling in reinforcements and coordinating the attack. Then you have the cytotoxic, or killer T cells. They're the special forces, the ones that go in and take out infected cells directly. Absolutely crucial, but notice what they're not doing. They aren't producing antibodies themselves. So the T cell is out. So now that we've looked at the two types of lymphocytes, let's circle back to those other suspects we mentioned at the beginning, the leukocytes that aren't lymphocytes. We need to understand their jobs to really get the big picture. Right. Just to hammer this home one more time because it's so important. Basophils and neutrophils are leukocytes, but not lymphocytes. They are part of the broader army of white blood cells, but they're not in that special forces category of B and T cells. So let's take a look at the basophils resume. This is a highly specialized soldier. Its main gigs, fighting parasitic infections and responding to allergic reactions. When it releases chemicals like histamine, that's what gives you those classic allergy symptoms. A super important job for sure, but definitely not making antibodies. And that brings us to the most common foot soldier in your body's entire defense force. Let's talk about the neutrophil. This is the first responder, the one that's always first on the scene of an infection. And just how common are they? Get this, at any given moment, about half, a full 50% of all the white blood cells circulating in your bloodstream are neutrophils. That's a staggering number. I mean, look at it this way. If you could gather all your circulating white blood cells in one place, half of your army would be made up of just neutrophils. That really tells you how much your body relies on them to be the first line of defense against bacteria and other invaders. So, how do they attack? They use a process called phagocytosis, which basically means cell eating. It's a simple but incredibly brutal and effective three-step mission. First, they find and surround the bad guy. Second, they literally swallow it whole. And third, they release a cocktail of powerful enzymes to destroy it from the inside out. Amazing, right? But again, not producing antibodies. Okay, so we've met the antibody factory, the field commander, the allergy specialist, and the first responder. We've looked at all the individual soldiers. Now let's zoom out and assemble the full army to see how they all work together. This really is the best way to think about it. Your immune system isn't just one thing. It's this incredibly coordinated army. And in that army, every single cell we've talked about has a highly specialized, absolutely vital mission. And here it is, our mission debrief all in one place. This cheat sheet puts it all together. We confirmed our target, the B cell. It's a lymphocyte, it comes from the bone marrow, and it produces antibodies. We saw its cousin, the T cell, is also a lymphocyte, but from the thymus, and it acts as the commander. And we clearly distinguish them from the other leukocytes, the basophil and the neutrophil, each with their own critical frontline jobs. So we'll leave you with this final thought. As you're just sitting here, this complex, coordinated army is on patrol inside of you. It's fighting and winning battles you will never, ever know even happened. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What enemy is it defeating for you right now in this very moment?